Deion Sanders, dad of Shedeur Sanders, quarterback at Colorado, one of the top 2 quarterbacks in this draft. Recently on the Tamron Hall Show, talking about his son relative to the draft process.
It's almost like you got a child that's going into an occupation that you already dominated in. Like, come on. And you don't think I'm not gonna sit there like a navigational system and tell him, take a right there, take a left right there, take a, not that, not that, oh, no. Like, that's who I'm called to address my son. I'm not gonna let my son get down in no foolishness.
But you and I both know these coaches, these owners, right? You've been in the rooms.
Right.
The owners, billionaire owners,
yes,
will often say, well, this is a young man who should be making his own decisions. He's got this helicopter dad.
Not my son. No. And we ain't in no helicopter. Yeah. We definitely ain't in no helicopter.
Giants are you're in the. So have you told him privately who you would like for him to play for?
It's not like that.
Okay.
Like, it's not like who I would like for him to play for. It's a couple teams that I won't allow him to play for. So it's not like that. But this is my profession. I know what's behind the curtain. We ain't got to get back there for me to understand what's behind the curtain and what's not prominent for my son. I'm not doing it. Ain't
and
no
if he
in the world.
doesn't listen to you?
Who? You must mean owners, like, not my son.
With that, let's welcome in Scott Petrak, Browns beat reporter for the Chronicle-Telegram as well as brownzone.com. Scott, the whole Shedeur Sanders thing, you got to be aware of that relative to where there's going to be problems. And what Deion is referring to, and he said it a number of times, is an Eli Manning, where he forced his way out of a situation and into another.
Right. Well, the Browns would know that ahead of time. I don't think that's going to be a secret, on draft day, and all of a sudden they find out that Deion doesn't think Shedeur should be here. It's interesting. Obviously, it worked out for the Mannings. I don't think anybody thinks less of Peyton or Eli or Archie for the way that went, or Arch for the way that went, 25 years ago or whenever it was. Eli got drafted 2004, I think. So, I don't know if we should look at Deion a certain way about that. I think that Deion will be involved. He's made that abundantly clear. I don't know if that's a bad thing. I understand why some people would bristle at that notion. But I also think from a Browns standpoint, Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski would impress Deion. I don't know how well they know each other, but I think that would be fine. It would be a matter of, does he look at the Haslams and think that they run an organized organization? And can he trust them to get it right finally, and to get it right at the quarterback position finally? I think that's what Deion's decision would come down to.
Yeah, the flip side of it is, to your point, they're going to know. And if he doesn't want to come to the Browns, they need to keep. What they don't want to do is if they determine they're going to trade out of 2, you want them to think you want the Giants or the Raiders or any team that's going to trade up to get that spot. You want them to think that you're set to take them, being Sanders, because you want maximum value for that pick.
Yeah, except I get what you're saying. There needs to be leverage in value in that number 2 pick. Now, I never bought the theory that if you don't make a trade, like if Team X wants to get up and trade up for Team Y's spot, if Team Y doesn't make that trade, they're not taking a quarterback. Like, if you want the quarterback, you stay and take the quarterback. So you just have to have some kind of belief that maybe another team wants to move up, or, I guess that you could try to sell him that you'll sit there and take him, or you could sell him, we'll sit here and take him, and then you have to come get him after the draft. I don't know who that's, which team that's better for. But it'll certainly add intrigue if we found out that Deion does not want Shedeur to play here, and we're talking about the Browns. Then that would add a giant element to this whole draft situation.
Yeah, and if you take a look at his numbers, being Shedeur's, they're pretty good. His PFF grade was 91 90.6 PFF passing grade, 74% completion rate, 37 passing touchdowns. You see over 4,000 yards, 168.2 passer rating. So, again, on the field, pretty good. I mean, holds the ball long. We know the laundry list of things that are concerns. But there's a reason he's considered one of the top 2 quarterbacks in this draft.
Without a doubt. And I have not watched a ton of him, but I have read some of the scouting reports. And, I know he's not the kind of guy that wants to be a playmaker. He wants to sit in the pocket and deliver passes. And I like that in a quarterback coming out of college. I think having the structure, having been in a pro system. Pat Shurmur is a coordinator out there. Browns fans know him. He's a longtime NFL guy. He has an NFL system. I think that's respected. He can also get some insight into Kevin Stefanski because he coached with them in Minnesota, and the Haslam's to some degree because he was here when the Haslam's bought the team, and then they wound up firing Pat before he got a full season with him. So I think there's some things to really like about Sanders as a quarterback, as a prospect. And part of that is the fact that he's really good from the pocket. And I know we see a lot of running quarterbacks these days, but to me, that's still the most important thing. You have to be good inside the pocket.
So it'll be, again, those are just things to keep an eye on as the process. And the process will get rolling at the Senior Bowl. I think Shedeur's playing in the Shrine Bowl, so he's not playing in the Senior Bowl in Mobile. But those are all things to monitor as you go through the process.